Looks like everything's is it gonna be a but and not let me, no, chat's right there, but I have to have OBS up? Um, how do I make this work? 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 Doing infinite screens. 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 Oh, that's why it's 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 doing infinite screens. Oh, that's why. What are y'all seeing? That black box is just so I can see chat if anybody comes in. Usually when I draw, I'm actually listening to music. So, uh, I'm used to working in silence and not talking while I draw, so we're gonna see how this goes. Uh, if people come into chat, I'll start, taking little mini art requests, but, till then, I am just going to sit here drawing Sonic characters and talking to myself. If y'all hear drinking and eating, I am a snacker, and I physically cannot not snack. And so the alternative is me passing out. Yo, hey Ninjedi! What up? It's been so long since I've heard from you. How are you doing? I don't know how big the stream delay is. So conversations might be a bit like laggy. Dude, I feel that. The past month have for me has been insane. I have had to not had to, but I had my future sister-in-law's bachelorette party, then I went up to, grandparents' house for 4th of July, then I had a con, and then I went up to my future father-in-law's house for a game night, so it's just been one thing after another. So by the time I actually, had a weekend to myself, it was fun. I had tons of fun. Me and my, partner have been having loads of fun, but we are so exhausted. No, but I definitely get life stuff keeping you busy. That was me last month. And honestly, up until like a week ago. I am drawing just it's a drawing I started last night. I want to do a kind of an homage to Sonic Underground. If you never watched that, it was basically a old, very cheaply made show about Sonic and his apparently siblings he's triplets with that you've never heard of before or after this, in a band trying to take down Robotnik, aka Eggman. This is not one of the canonical siblings. It's actually an older version of his younger sister that they gave him in Japan named Tanya. I was like, oh, because it's Sonic, Manic, Sonia, I wanna do a kind of, like, comic where they're quadruplets, and Tanya kind of fit that naming scheme. So this is Tanya. I'm tried to make her hair, like, from the back, it looks kind of like a star, and so that's kind of her, like, theming. But yeah, I was just kind of drawing this while I waited for, chatters. Now people can make little, like, art requests, like, I can work on Grand Killing Game character designs or comic, I can work on the Ultra Despair Girls comic. And discuss some of the things I'm thinking for that and some, like, the little, like, plot hole plot issues I'm having that have kind of, like, stopped it from being written a little bit. It's still happening, I just, need time to work out where I want the story to go other than, like, the very broad strokes of, for example, in Ultra the Spare Girls, I know where it starts and where it ends, and some big events in the middle, but I don't know how, they go from after they leave the island and Suichi gets captured. I do not know how Maki and Himiko run into Toko and Kamaru. So, and like my theoretical way they've been leaving the island is they after creating a memorial for all the dead students. I don't know the link on Tumblr works. I had to look you up. I don't think the link on Tumblr works. I do not know how to make the link on Tumblr work. Let's check it out. It might if you're on mobile, I know that, oh, look, infinity screen. I know that it can be a bit glitchy on mobile, so that could be it, and that's something when I was looking up how to, like, share the stream on Tumblr, they're just like, mobile might say "F you" for in everything you stand for, so yeah, it no, it could be because it's using the same internet service for my Twitch stream as my Tumblr, so maybe that's why I can see it easier. Just replay, now it's working. Well, that's good. if you're curious about the little wispy things, because those aren't standard for Sonic characters, this is just how I've been drawing them as of recently. Is these little like fur tufts on the muzzle, because I think it makes them look better. Kind of like how if you've seen my recent art, I started drawing them with like to like kind of like meld the like blue arms and the tan arms on Sonic as an example. I do blue on top, and where the under one would be, I do the tan. Posing, especially with like characters like this, because like with anime characters, I can always look up pose references. I actually find posing these characters harder than posing like Danganronpa characters, because I can look up references and like, oh, this is how this would like stylistically look on a Danganronpa character, knowing that they mainly follow anatomical connections and anatomical connections. What the hell am I talking about? Mainly follow like anatomy, just a bit stylized. So with these, I kind of have to think about with like Sonic characters, I have to very much think about like, oh, where would this arm go? They don't really like they have the neck, like very short necks you can see. But most of the time you don't see those unless it's in a specific pose. Just a lot of what I find minor details you have to keep in mind. Like ended up because I used a the actual thing. I actually remembered I have to open some files for this. So you guys can see into my little like folder and how I name ish in this bitch. I just have to remember to click the Clip Art Studio, so if I need to get on the original colors. And why do I keep clicking the... It's because I see the picture and I'm like, that's what I need. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I would still want to use a lot of the same colors from this one for her. But I like this design for her better, and honestly, for the project these are for, I have a rough idea of where I want that story to go, but like not entirely. So, yeah, I might change her hair to look more like this quote unquote older version. If I don't just make it this the one in that other one. But yeah, I want to do kind of like a Sonic Underground AU where Tanya was included. And I might do some animations for it. I might do some comics. I'm kind of just a play it by ear person when it comes to AUs and stuff. I don't take myself or anything super seriously, for better or for worse. Because I find when I try to plan things, then I get worked up about them being perfect, and who needs that in life? If I spent every 5 years trying to be. To me, there's no use in trying to like be 100% perfect. I realized I was trying to be perfect, especially when it came to animation. And then I listened to, I think his name is Random Video Game Critic on YouTube. I listened to his Everything Wrong With series for Hell of a Boss. And he said, cool Danganronpa reviews that Chihiro figure order came in the mail. Chihiro! Okay, fun Chihiro is mine and my partner's favorite Danganronpa character. I absolutely adore Chihiro. Um, like, even though I draw, like, Suichi and Kaede and them a lot, and I draw a lot of girls, my favorite's Chihiro. My partner, who has trouble with, like, Japanese names, calls him Churro, and I also accidentally blabbed that Churro is not a girl, and they were like, "Well, is that a spoiler?" And I was like, "Kind of," and I was like, "It's a plot point." He was like, "Oh, so Churro's gonna end up a murderer or dead," and I was just like, "No, no, no, it just becomes a plot point in a trial." So they think Chihiro lives. I mean, also fun Danganronpa news, at the con, Chihiro, Samugi voice actress for Chihiro, Samugi, and Sayaka, because it's all one person, was there, and I got a signed Chihiro print. I'll have to, post it onto, like, Tumblr or Twitter. But yeah, that was super fun, and I got to m meet her and get a signed print of Chihiro. But, like I was saying about the random video game critic, is sorry if Chihiro, the bastard's the guy with fix it. You know what? Half my characters when they in Danganronpa wouldn't exist without Chihiro too. Because I do plan on exporting this to YouTube, and, like, if I end up doing gaming later today, I will, edit them to where the art's one portion and the gaming is one portion. For people on YouTube, Sakai is Ninjedi's character that I often do as commissions. Love Sakai. Sakai is it's like you took all the worst parts of Chihiro and the best parts of Kokichi and you smashed them together. So, yeah, Sakai is Ninjedi's character that I often do for commissions, and it's very, Sakai's amazing. It's fun to write, he's fun to draw. It's probably one of him and Chihiro are probably two of the male characters I like drawing the most often because I just draw dresses and I really like drawing girly clothes. Yeah, but I was saying with Random Video Game Critic, he had said in, I forget, I think it's the Cherub episode one where he's talking about Helvabosh Cherub, is he goes, "The name of game and animation isn't perfect. It's good enough." Because if you sit there trying to do perfect, well, you'll always notice things that can be improved in a shot. And so, ever since hearing that, I was kind of like, you know what? I've wasted, like, time and effort trying to be perfect, even in my own, like, animatics and stuff like that. Amy animatic I did a couple, weeks back would not have come out if I waited for it to be perfect. It might not have come out at all, because I had the idea for that months ago when I first got into my Sonic kicks. So, and I wanted to finish it before I lost inspiration, but if I worried about that being 100% perfect and 100% finished, it would have never come out. So I was like, you know what? I need to dial down the scope. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew I could complete it with just getting to the first chorus. So that's what I did. Is it a little rushed at the end? Yes, but again, I'm the type of person who's just like, well, I have the inspiration for it now. If I don't finish it, I may lose the inspiration for it later, or I may not have the ideas to finish it. Um, so back to talking about Danganronpa, I basically am just stuck on Ultra Despair Girls of once the survivors of V3 are in wherever the location is, because it's not Toa City. I know that. But it has to be like a coastal-ish city because they arrive there on a boat. And I will say something fun that nobody's noticed in that one, and or at least if people have noticed, they in the first comic page, nobody's addressed, is Himiko finds a flash drive, and it's blurred out, but there is something written on it that is a plot twist I've been kind of like not plot twist, but a not no Toast. I might as well not Toast City. That's stupid and funny. I love stupid things. Some of my favorite like things are stupid. Anyways, Himiko found a fly. Can't make me laugh. It makes it hard to draw because I have to have a steady hand. Uh, Himiko found a flash drive and nobody has questioned what it's for. And I'm so excited to reveal it when somebody finally like asks, "Hey, what was this thing in the prologue at the very beginning about?" Because I actually have a pretty good payoff for that planned, but it would be like far into the story, and like it will get referenced by at least Himiko multiple times. Even if like she doesn't talk to other characters about it, I'm gonna put in little things of her looking at this flash drive until people start questioning what it's about. Yeah, so my main issue is backgrounds are what I need to practice. So I'm probably gonna if I just end up drawing this today for the stream, I'm probably gonna try to do a pretty good background on it. The little like house background on my Twitch I actually drew the other day. And it has a blurring effect just because I felt if it was super sharp images, it would sharp images. It would distract from the stream, and I have a theory about I won't say it if it turns out I'm right. You can put the theory in because if you look at what it's trying to say, you have a pretty good idea of what I'm planning, and I won't confirm nor deny. You can say it or you can message me on artistry. But I'm surprised nobody's been like, "Hey Hess, what the hell? What the hell is this for?" Yeah, so part of this stream is just me forcing myself to do things I'm not really good at. Example, instruments. Like this drawing I specifically chose because my weaknesses are posing, props, and backgrounds. And if I want to be a animator, even a hobbyist animator, but if I want to start regularly doing animations and animatics, those are kind of things you need to be successful. Is props, backgrounds, and posing, because the core of character personality, I think, is you can tell a lot of about a character by their pose and how they move around. The sole on the shoe is giving me trouble. Sole on the shoe is giving me trouble. Fuck this shoe. What the fuck is wrong with? Why can't I draw this shoe? Okay, let's do the top of the sole. No, let's do the bottom. I mean, if people start like after the stream and on Tumblr, they're just like, "Hey, you mentioned this. What do you mean it has a thing?" I will seed hints of what it is out there, but it will not be revealed in story for a while. Even though, like, everybody kind of knows if you read the tag, you. What's your song?
You know, I often will sing to myself for, to help deal with sorry if you hear the squeaking chair, it's not a chair, it is my desk, which is just a $60 Walmart fold-up table that I've been using as a desk for the past 2 years. I will sing to myself, as, like, a calming mechanism. Like, I was drive for context, I have very poor night vision, like, I'm practically blinded at night if there's oncoming traffic, and it was the night after the 4th of July, and we're driving back from my grandma's 'cause, the lakes my grandma lives on a lake. The fireworks that the lake put on had gone off, and my brother was heading home as well, because he had come up to launch fireworks. Because that's what we do, we go up to my grandma's to launch fireworks on the 4th of July, but we usually do it, like, the day before when everybody's doing them on the weekend. So, currently, my fiancé is not insured on my vehicle, so they can't drive it. I'm planning because I have to get my own car insurance. Because currently I'm on my parents', I have to get my own car insurance, so they're gonna be on it. That meant they couldn't drive us home, so I ended up singing a song about how I was going to shit my own pants for a good 20 minutes as we were getting from the little windy road, like, it's literally just a dirt and winds, there's no railings, it's just a steep hillside and forest you could plummet into in a couple houses. I started singing about shitting my pants because it was the only way I could feasibly calm myself. Why? I don't know. That's just how it was. But yes, I, the entire story behind that is I sing random songs I often make up to calm myself. I'm so glad Clip literally, like, 10 minutes before the game was about to start, Clip Paint Studio was having this issue, and, like, I was just like, "Oh, no, am I gonna have to do, like, just a gaming stream?" Because it crashed on me, which has not happened ever since I got this new laptop computer. I had to get, a new laptop because my old laptop's screen cracked, and, I couldn't draw with a cracked screen, for obvious reasons. You know what? That shoe is good enough, and I just need to copy it. I'm done fucking with this shoe. This isn't even the most, like, interesting or important part of her design. Well, it's a Hess Knight becomes a gamer. The games, if we play them, I have 3 potential games we could play, because I wanna eventually stream the Danganronpa series, even though I know it front to back. But I'd wanna do it in order of, like, story order. And by that I mean I do Trigger Happy Havoc, then I do Ultra Despair Girls, then Goodbye Despair, and then, uh, Killing Harmony, that's what 3 is called. Even though I think that V3, and it's my personal theory, and it's how in Ultra Despair Girls, V3 actually takes place before SDR2. And if you're reading, Bring Me to Life, I think that's the name of the Kaede Comes Back fic. I go more into detail about it. What about Danganronpa S? I don't own Danganronpa S, but that's one I would do after all the rest. Because I'd play the, game board mode on V3, get that pretty done, and then play S. I do wanna get and play S, though. Yeah, but I currently do not own S. So anyways, the 3 games would basically be, because I don't know why it has to be in order for Danganronpa, but for Sonic it's not. It'd be Trigger Happy Havoc, Sonic Adventure 2, or Sonic Adventure 1. I mean, if I had S, I'd probably do that at anytime, like, "Okay, here are 4 games I have that we can play." I know a star would just be but it looks wrong, so I have to do it upside down so it looks right on this fucking shoe. And it's still gonna look wonky. It can look wonky. It's not the main detail of her shoe. Main detail of Tanya's shoe because she's supposed to be into like skateboarding and all that junk. Or actually these like I imagine Tanya's shoes can convert easily into like roller skates or Heelys both at once. And I'm going to rate her as more of like if Sonia is the more girly sister, Tanya's the more tomboy sister. She's also the most likely to you know that drawing I made of Kaede and Suichi in the car towing Hajime? That Sonic's the car, and he has a very shitty rope that's going to pull Tanya. Because they're idiots. And I think half of the Sonic cast are adrenaline junkies. Would you? I love how sensitive this thing is sometimes, but sometimes I hate it. Because sometimes I'll be trying to draw something like this, and then all of a sudden, boop! Because my hand hits there. It used to be worse on my old computer. I don't know what it was, but like it would trigger my hand as like triggering a dot, so I just ran up with these endings. They're dummies, but they're your dummies. That is true. Like I don't know what the name for the other Sonic project's gonna be, and that's the main reason I started the redesigns. And I came up with this project. So this project, if I do it, is gonna be called Supersonic Sound. I'll have you known in Jedi that I've had to permit 2 of your messages. One for calling Sky a bastard, and 2, it's flagged the dummies as bullying, which I find hilarious. I mean, you're the only chatter, but yeah, 100% flagged as you trying to bully me, which I find hilarious. Yeah, but yeah, they're fucking idiots. And in Supersonic Sound, they're gonna be, especially once they start actually doing stuff, a group of fucking idiots. Yeah, gonna have to intentional spell words wrong to circumnavigate the Autobot. Autobots roll out, probably. I mean, knowing that I have 0 filter and I don't expect any children to be here, so, I don't know how many people are watching, but if you're not an Jedi and you're a child, this is a no-no stream for you. I use cuss words like fuck word all the time, and I barely have a filter. Because if I know children are around, yes, I have a filter, but if I can't tell, or it's an ambiguous space like YouTube where they could access it, they could also not access it. I'm not gonna watch my mouth. I'm in the comfort of my own room drawing Sonic characters. I'm not gonna watch my mouth. I like having little like design themes to characters. So for Tanya, that's actually and as I see first of all, jerk. I'll have you known in Jedi. I had to okay that again because jerk got flagged. I like having design themes. Like a character will have a certain design motif. So for, let's say, Jade and Esther, who's gonna be my VTuber model as soon as I can get her rigged up, they have the little scales, and eventually I wanna do, like, little the other drag buns I've made are gonna be chatbots once I can figure that out. And I will say, Esther is her, they, Esther uses all pronouns. It's a mystical dragon bunny, pronouns don't apply. So I use she and they interchangeably for all the drag buns. Um, so Esther, Jade, Cream, which is like food-based one, drag bun emotes. I want to make them A emotes, but B I want to make like a chat bot that like changes depending on the day. Like occasionally I haven't named the one that's based off of a plushie and pajamas I own. Her name's probably gonna be like Berries and Cream. Like Berries and Cream is gonna be her full name, but it's Berries for short. Yeah, drag bun emotes. But also like little drag buns. Sometimes it would be like Jade, sometimes it'll be Lapis, sometimes it'll be Ametrine. Because originally, when I first made Jade and Lapis and Ametrine, all the drag ones were meant to have gym names. But then I made Esther, and I was like, well, I don't. She looks similar to Jade, but she's not Jade. But I don't know what crystal would work for her, so she kind of broke that naming convention. And so now drag buns have whatever fuck name I want. But yeah, I want to figure out how to code a little chat bot so like chat can talk to me. Eventually, like if I do these streams often enough, do all dragons like Mochi or is it just Jade? Uh, Jade, who raises Lapis and Citrine. So it depends on what they're based off of. So Jade, yes, she likes Mochi because she was based off of the Jade Rabbit from mythology and the Jade Dragon, which is why she has this like sun and moon theming to her little like design. And so she likes mochi because one of the legends is the Jade Rabbit is either making mochi or making medicine or the elixir of life on the moon. So she likes mochi for that reason. Lapis Lazuli probably wouldn't like mochi because she's based off of how Egyptians found lapis sacred. So Jade, I have reasons for each of them like liking what they like and what their like origins would be and how they would look as humans. So if I were to draw them in super realistically, which I can't because I'm not a realistic artist, Jade would be Asian, Lapis would be Egyptian. I don't know what Citrine would be yet. The Berries one would be European just because she's more generic. And thank you, Google. Um, Esther would be generic racially ambiguous person because she's meant to be like a catch-all, though in her like the VTuber art, she appears to be white because I'm white. Um, so I think Jade would like mochi. Berries would like mochi because there's like mochi ice cream and stuff. And Esther is more of an extension of myself, though she has her own lore and her own personality besides me. I have not had proper mochi. I've had mochi ice cream, but the texture was a bit off for me. So it all depends. So most of them do, but it also depends on what they're based off and how I made them. So like if you make a drug bun of your own, you can make your own assertion of whether or not they like mochi. It's just one of the like funny things to make, for lack of a better word, to make Jade more human is I wanted her to have these silly aspects to her despite her being serious and very quiet. So I gave her that love for mochi and like more traditional food, Japanese foods. Yeah, the reason she likes mochi is because she was based off of the jade dragon from, like, Chinese mythology and the jade rabbit from Japanese and Chinese. No, but fun fact, yeah, that's where her, concept started out was, I just wanted to make a something that mixed the jade rabbit and the jade dragon, and she started out as a Pokemon, and she was going to and they were going to have and that's how the Dragbun name came to be. And they were all Dragbuns were gonna have these giant mochi mallets and, yeah. So, all very much depends with, the mother of a no, do not delete subtool. It all depends on, like, the inspiration I oh, why are you not working, pen? The inspiration I, take to make the Dragman, of whether or not they like something or not. Now I can find out mochi is popular in Egypt, and that would change Lapis's, preference on it. So, that's working. Why aren't you working? Sorry, there's no art happening at the moment. My tablet pen decided to stop working. You might hear me shuffling on my very dirty desk, looking for batteries in a second, but I thought there was more life left in this one. There we go. Back in business. I was using a 5. Yes, I was using a 5. Mm, yeah. But I don't generally like having these recurring design elements when I design characters myself. So because Tanya in the original Sonic, can you plug your tablet pen? So here's the thing with my tablet pen is it's battery powered, like physical like quadruple A batteries, and it doesn't have a plug type thing. And my tablet isn't a tablet but my laptop. So I'm sure if it was that kind of tablet and tablet pen, yes, but this is more like a, pen-shaped stylus I use. So I got it to work, but, unfortunately, my, tablet pen doesn't work like that. Yeah. But I like having recurring, themes and elements in my art when I make characters. And can I go overboard with it sometimes? Yes. So for Tanya, because she just looked like Sonic in her original appearance, like Sonic and Amy, who looked the same. No shade, loved the design, but goddamn, they liked that design a little too much over in Sega Japan at the time. I want her to have these elements, and I'm like, okay, what can I do with this character to make her her? And so Sonic, the entire Sonic team has always had this kind of like star-like imagery. Now I could just see that because I like star imagery. So I decided to make her quills look like a star, which I often would do for Amy. Is I give her 5 quills, other than her front tufts. Speaking of front tufts, and I'm using very regulated terms. Like I call these tufts, they're quills. So I decided to make her more star-like, and you can kind of see it in this design more from here than anything else, but there's not much more to it. and couldn't figure out how I wanted her to look older. So I ended up looking up when I did Sonya and Manic, I actually looked up what other people had done and took inspiration from that. But outside Japan, not many people know of Tanya for two reasons. A, super obscure Sonic manga, which America is just now finding out about, where Sonic was called Nikki and stuff like that. And B, she had two different names in that continuity. Sometimes she was called Tanya, sometimes she was called Anita. And that's just because Japanese is a phonetic language, and so sometimes the characters would get mixed up. So, not a lot of people have had the time or care to do a modern rendition of what they think she would look like in the modern style. So I was like, okay, well, if she's a sibling of all three of them in this, she would look a bit like Queen Alina. And Tanya is shown with three different quill colors: pink, purple, and yellow. Well, purple works out great because Queen Alina is purple. So I looked at modern Sonya designs because obviously she'd look like her sister, and modern Queen Alina redesigns. And I found one Queen Alina that had this upturn, and I was just like, that is perfect. I want to use that. And it gave her kind of like this like star looking, so I made her like mini motif all over her. She has a lot of like stars to her design. Yeah. Could that be just because I like stars? Maybe. I will always go back to star motifs when in doubt. And there's no shame in that. I just like space. I've always been fat ever since I was a little dingus. I liked space, and you can blame Sailor Moon for that. Sailor Moon started my love for space. Where would her tail would be back here, so you would not be able to see it in this pose. How do I want the head of this guitar to... Here's a question. What are the parts of a bass called? Because this is the neck. This is the Is this the axe? Or is the bass itself called an axe? And then what's this upper part called? Also, what the fuck do I... Oh wait, I could do something like... half star? I'm not drawing strings on this bitch. I'm just admitting that now. A, I don't know how many strings are on a bass. And B, if I were to ever animate this, you think this bass would have strings? No, we're going for the illusion. Mother of a goat. I don't hate myself that much. So I got really quiet for a second because I was concentrating on There we go. Now we take off that layer and we start coloring this bitch. And one that I used for this. Nope, nope. Since you're drawing Sonic, what are your favorite Sonic games? Yeah. So, I was never good at Sonic games. Let me preface this entire drawing with that. I would watch my brother play them. Straight up, I'd sit there and he'd be playing and I'd be cheering him on and helping him. And there was one level I would regularly play though, because my brother, while he had interest in it, he knew I had more interest in it. My favorite game right now is Sonic Adventure 2, specifically for the Chow Garden. I was so attached to it growing up. I had a Chow named Zach who had come from an egg that two of my other Chow had. Like I bred Chow and I ended up with this egg. And this little Chow popped out and he had these big old wide eyes and this toothy grin, and I fell in love. Now I spelled Zach Z-A-Z-A-K. Z-A-C-K is how I spelled it. I had to remember for a second because I know it's spelled with an H, not a K. And I always found that stupid. Also, it was my way of getting over. I was terrified of this kid named Zach I knew growing up because he just gave off a bad vibe, I guess. I don't remember why I was so scared of him, but I was. So this was my effort to not be scared by that name because I had met two Zachs that were god awful, which ended up being on okay terms with. But I came extremely attached to this Chow, and to the point where my siblings did not mess with the Chow Garden after a certain point. They played all the other things, but they let me largely do my thing in the Chow Garden. So Sonic Adventure 2, specifically Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, because that's the version I knew and loved. I was trying a coloring style, it did not look as good as I thought it would. I mean, it looked good, just not for what I want out of this drawing. And I actually started recently playing Sonic Adventure 2 with the Battle DLC. Found out there's a hilarious glitch in the PC port where in the first level, the trolleys just all up in your business in this top part of the screen. My fiance was just like, "What's happening?" and had to look up the fix. Meanwhile, I was laughing the entire time because I thought it was so stupid. I love things that are stupid like that. They make me laugh so hard. Was it going to get inconvenient in the future? Sure. But for, like, my first impression of playing that game for the first time since I was, like, 13, so funny. Uh, I also when it comes to story other than Sonic Adventure 2, I enjoy I enjoy the concept of the storybook Sonic games. Now, granted, I've never played them. And that was around the time my brother stopped playing them, so. But I like their concept. So I'd have to say Sonic Adventure series and the. Have you seen the? I have! And I've been relentlessly, like, referencing it since, like, for Chat Amy Week. I just, instead of an actual description on one, it was just like, in Shadow Voice, I miss my wife, Tails. And then somebody commented, like, I recognize that reference. And then they're just like, that's so funny. And then I just commented back, Sonic, I peed on your wife. Peed on your love interest. She's mine now. And then they replied back with like a little song, like, what the actual So stupid. I love it so much. I would, if I ever made an animated series with actual money, like, if I were to pay voice actors to do Sonic Soundwave, um, I would pay Alfred to be Eggman and just let him ad lib. Like, you know how, like, some movies have their actors ad lib a certain character? Like, I think in Pitch Perfect, that was, the Fat Amy character. Most her lines were ad libbed, and anything with Robin Williams, they had a loose script, but otherwise they just let him go off. I do that with Alfred. I also have had Alfred's done, there goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii, the island is gone, stuck in my head. Dude, I wanted to listen to those while playing Sonic. So fucking stupid. Speaking of things that were so stupid, I loved them. If you've watched Sonic Prime, it's not really a spoiler just because it's just a character, Chaos Sonic. It is he is glorious. I love him. He's so stupid. Like, if people are just like, he was menacing, he had a cool voice, he has a cool design, I was just like, oh no, he's so stupid, which is the reason I love the older, like, Sonic stuff. It's because I find it so stupid and it brings me so much joy. Is, they have a similar attitude to where he did in the old Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog stuff. And in, Sonic Underground. Like, cocky, chatty motherfucker. Love him. I also have one-handedly become the biggest, like, Rusty Rose X Chaos Sonic shipper. And coming from somebody who shipped Lotage, I'm just like, I will make all the contact to myself. That is a threat and a promise. And so far, other than somebody who's just doing like a generic like Sonic Prime, all kinds of ships one, I am the only person who's been posting fics on AO3 and I've dubbed this ship Rusty Chaos because I think that sounds badass. All around me are familiar faces, worn out Eggmans. When I'm in the fucking building! Oh my Ivo! I got back into the Sonic fandom at the perfect stuff. I need to download Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. I know what happens. I just want to play it myself, because again, so stupid, but favorite games are some of my favorite things are stupid. this design, I want to, because she appears yellow, pink, and purple, I wanted to kind of make references to all her appearances, which is why her main body is yellow, because that's mainly what she like appeared as, and I actually use the same yellow for her as I do Tails because I'm lazy. Um, but this pinkish purple is meant to be a reference to how she would appear as both pink and purple, and it's a kind very like purple tinted pink, light pink too. Plus Queen Alina's purple, so she got from her mom. And Sonia's a bit purpley. Now, how a purple hedgehog ended up having a yellow purple daughter, a purplish pink and pink a magenta and pink daughter, a green sun and a blue sun is beyond me. But I'll just say the blue and pink tones came from her being purple, and that means dad is probably like a yellowy green. And it's also implied that like Uncle Chuck is Sonic's uncle on his dad's side because he looks nothing like Alina, and Uncle Chuck would have been a prince, but it's highly implied in Sonic Underground that Queen Alina was an only child, so Uncle Chuck has to be Sonic's paternal uncle. And given that he has no title except for Sir Charles, meaning he's a knight, that means the Queen got it on with a knight. Have I looked too much into this? Yes, but I'm also the type of person who thinks way too hard and gets unreasonably upset when the wrong title is used for nobility. Like when people go like, "You're what did you first think when you saw Shaw first time as a kid? Did you think he was the coolest?" Yes, I did think he was the coolest. I still think he's pretty damn cool. But that also comes from me thinking bad boys with a soft heart are hot. So I won't say I'm a furry, but I'm not saying it. Look, I've kind of always had the questionable taste in fictional men of I want them to theoretically kill for me, but not actually do it. And that's where that sentence ends. So yes, and I specifically in my redesigns put Shadow in a leather jacket with a leather gloves for that reason, and almost gave him leather boots because I think that ensemble is hot as fuck. Maybe. Am I gonna put Surge in a symbol ensemble because I think it's even hotter on women? Maybe. I also like heavily shipped him with Amy. Like I still shipped Son Amy, but like I was just like, you know what? If Sonic won't treat you right, Shadow will. He would. He would treat any girl right. I'm going off on fictional characters and ships. But I'm pretty sure that's what y'all came here for, so. There goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii, the island is gone. Oh, there goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii, there goes. Now you've got that song stuck in my head, Ninja. I hope you're happy with yourself. There goes Hawaii. Give me that skin tone, boy. I say skin tone as if it's not fur. We can all agree that the like hand patches and peach and skin colored patches on Sonic's body is fur, right? Because that's what appears to be in the movies. And that's what appears to be in Boom, which is more close in design wise to the modern classic era. We can agree that this stuff I'm coloring right now is fur, right? Not skin. And because most, how do I put this lightly? Other than humans, mammals don't have boobs like this. We can agree that it's just following the Angel Dust from Has Been Hotel line of logic, where anything that looks like a chest is just fur, right? Like, maybe it's a little bit of, like, meat, but for the most part, Rouge, that's chest floof. A little bit on Amy, chest floof. Whisper, chest floof. Now, does this help the furry argument? No. Did I set out to do that in the first place? No, I accepted I was a furry long ago. Like, not like a furry. I'm not gonna get dressed up and yiff somebody. But anthropomorphic characters are hot, and I stand by that. I was born with very little shame. Get to bad important details. Boop, 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 boop. I can't remember if I saw Sonic, not Sonic, if I saw Shadow first in Sonic X or in Sonic Adventure 2. What came first? The chicken or the egg? Which is a hilarious saying if you look at it scientifically, because the egg had to have come first because things are classified based off the egg they hatch out of. I had to do that research for specifically a processing. Processing. A writing class of all things. We were supposed to think of a question that was like an enigma. And then for me it was Sonic Shadow and Sonic Fair. I've recently been listening to the Sonic Heroes soundtrack, and arguably, I would say it has some of the best, like, character music. Like, the. Nothing. Not sneeze at the, Team Sonic ca- muse theme song. But Team Roses and Team Darks are fucking phenomenal. Like, Team Roses hits every, like, girly-esque, itch. But, Team Dark made me realize I might be into grunge music, which isn't a problem, I just never knew that before. Such hard rock, and I'm just, like, sitting there like one of the, like, most childish girly anime characters just do 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 bobbing my head, like, whimsically to No. I will say, if they make a Sonic Heroes again, like, A, I don't think it needs a remake. I'm just saying that now. And B, Amy is not a speed type. She's never been touted as being fast. I don't know why they made her the speed type. If they make a Heroes, they should just make a second Heroes game. And A, Team Road shouldn't include Big. Love Big, he's great, but no. There's so many people that would better fit her team. Like, right, Cream would obviously be the flying type of Amy's team, but let's say you had. I like putting Styx on as a speed character because that motherfucker's feral. Styx is the most feral Sonic character I've ever met, and I love her for it. Because her feral ass would be fast about getting things done, and Amy's the power character. You cannot convince me that after, like, SA1, she. It sounds weird to say, like, Sonic Adventure 1, I bet she went to Knuckles and was like, train me. And he was like, no. And she was like, I'll beat your ass. And goes, try me. And that's how she trained. I think Team Rose should be Amy, Styx, and Cream, with Amy being a power type and Styx being the speed type. I'm very passionate about this thing that does not matter. Because then it's just Amy with two of her like best friends. I also think they should bring Techno the Canary back in. And if you don't want to put a child on the team, then Techno's your flying. Why do I keep wanting to say flying type? Flying character. I've been watching too much Pokemon. And you get that benefit of you bring Tenko in from the Fleetways. And if you don't want her to be Amy's girlfriend, make her Amy's ex-girlfriend. Well, technically, they friend. Because they basically confirmed that Techno is, this is looking like, this, now she's starting to look. You know who, I've accidentally made her resemble? Tanya resemble? Mina the Mongoose from the Archie comics. I mean, fuck the Archie comics for, not fuck the Archie. Fuck Ken Penders. I will go on a rant, after this about Ken Penders. If you don't want Amy to be gay, which should have characterized her as not bi, there's no way that girl's straight. Look at the way she talks to like bullies and stuff. That is not a straight woman. And you look at her and Sonic together. Combine their colors in them, then that's the bi flag, y'all. I don't honestly, I don't think any of those bi characters are straight. I mean, jury's out on the children because they're children. But by children I mean like the younger cast like Charmy, Cream, uh Tails. How did I forget Tails? He's my favorite Sonic character. Even though I draw Amy more often. That's just because I like drawing girls. Reasons I should have realized I was gay sooner. Uh but yeah, I don't think most of the adult slash teenage, because ages are now ambiguous in the Sonic series, are straight. Like, maybe Vanilla and Vector. But I'm pretty sure Vanilla is just more on sexual. Look at Vector and tell me I'm wrong. Yeah. With the purple and the, starting to add, like, leather stuff on, I've accidentally made her look like Mina the Mongoose. You know what? That was pretty good design. Character could have done more, but, other than be there for the sake of drama and then bully somebody who was just trying to. I realize why Mina. For context, in the Archie comics, there is a. How much context do I have to give for this one thing? There is an AI name. Oh fuck, what's her name? The HoloLinks. Nicole. Thank you. There's an AI named Nicole who is Princess Sally, and if you've been in the Sonic fandom long enough, you know who Princess Sally is. She is the American girlfriend originally, which is why there's such a ship battle, even though Sega of Japan, which is the original creators, have been like, no, he would end up with Amy if anybody. And I will talk about the more about like questionable choices they made with the character for Amy, and actually choices I liked that they made with the character for Amy. In Archie. But Nicole, who's an AI, builds a town after not only after Sonic's team defeats Eggman for a bit, reclaim their city. Eggman attacks the city. They go live in the forest at their old base. They create a new city. Somebody attacks that city. I don't remember if specifically Eggman. They get nuked, I think. But everybody was transported to a city that Nicole had been building, where she and nanobots she controls have full control over everything. But then there's a sorceress whose whole thing is she can control technology. She comes, fucks up everybody's day, takes over Nicole. Nicole then breaks free of control because the power of friendship, and probably gay. Because there's no way her and Sally aren't a little gay for each other. It gives a lot of people trauma. Because at any second, if somebody can take over Nicole, they take over the city and can take people as hostage. Mina then holds a concert basically bashing Nicole. Nicole had been there to try and support Mina because she felt she was a friend. This plotline ends up never being fully resolved because of Kender's lawsuit, where they lost rights to a lot of the characters, one of which I believe was Mina the Mongoose. So Sega can never use that character again. Yeah, and I think that's everything. No, but because Ken Penders was just like, and it's part of Archie's fault. All they had to do was A, properly do the paperwork so that they owned the characters that he introduced, and B, after that, just give him the $2 per comic in royalties so you can use the characters. My favorite from the Archie comics is actually Rob Dio Hedge, who is Amy's Prince then King cousin, who basically speaks, everybody in that country speaks Shakespearean, and he's basically a walking Robin Hood joke. And I find that fucking hilarious. I don't know, it was so stupid. Like every time he would come on screen, it was just like, "Hark, thou thou art," and he looks almost exactly like Sonic. Like they accidentally predicted Sonic's green eyes before Sonic had green eyes. And he's just a barely like not Sonic. It was so stupid and made me laugh so hard. And I'm so sad he can never appear in Sonic media again. Not that they would let him appear, because they're just like, no, no more American influences. And I'm just like, fuck you, let me have fun. Like, just let people use the old freedom fighters again. Just redesign them to fit better and give them better personalities, because they were made in like the 80s. So of course, especially the females aren't going to have great character. You want Amy to be the de facto love interest for Sonic? Cool. Make Sally a lesbian or bi who's dating Nicole. But use the old freedom fighters. They're fun. Don't like that Rotor basically takes Tails' place? Make them like Tails is a general like coder and hacker. Make Rotor focused more on like just technology and machinery. Like Rotor builds a submarine and Tails programs it. Make them a team. I think it's funner to pull from all forms of canon than only one. Let people use them again. I think Sally would be so fun. Even if she's not a princess, she would be so fun in the IDW comics. Bunny would be so fun. All of them would be such fun, interesting characters to interact with the current generation of characters. But we can't, because the ones that Sega does own, they don't want to use. And Sonic used to stand for, like, fun, but Sega's had to be so, like, strict about regulations. We aren't allowed to have fun with these characters anymore. And would the cast be almost too big at this point? Yes, but Sega's already having that issue, so more the merrier. Just recontextualize the characters, but use them. Obviously, they're good and people have this connection to them. Now, again, because of the Kempender stuff, there's some they can't use. Like, they can't use Rob the Oathedge, which is really the biggest loss from this. Also, that man should never be allowed to work on Sonic again, or anything again. Because I'm not sure if he was the main writer behind this. Like, Sega's partly to blame, because they're originally the ones that made Sonic 15 and Amy 8 at the very beginning, which is questionable in itself, but, like, Sonic shows no interest to Amy until well after he's established as 15 and she's established as 12, which is still like, less than a 15-year-old going after an 8-year-old. However, a problem I have with the Archie comics pre-reboots is character Sonic's age and older going after Amy. So even when she ends up in her modern era, mentally she's still 8. Let me repeat that. Characters 15, 16, and older are going after an 8-year-old. Mentally an 8-year-old. Which is for multiple reasons. Like, they heavily tone it down, thank fuck. After a while. But knowing Amy is mentally 8. Sonic still goes on a date with her. That has to be the most, questionably fucked up writing Archie had, and I don't know if Ken Penders was the source of it, but I noticed after, like, he left, it happened a lot less, and they stopped making more mature characters, interact with Amy like that, which, thank fuck. It's also why I prefer Surge over Scourge, is because he kissed what he knew was mentally an 8-year-old. You can't see the face of disgust I have. Just know that it's there. I will say one thing I enjoyed about the, like, Archie writing of Amy is she has a moment where Sonic and Sally, who have been off and on dating all comic, and it's like we're like 200 comics in, are on a maybe section of their relationship, and they're just like people are harassing them and they're trying to be on a date. And Amy's just like, "Can y'all fuck off?" She doesn't say it like that. But she's like, "Can y'all fuck off for like ever and let them be happy?" And they're like, "Hey, yo, ain't you a simp for him?" And she's like, "Yeah, that just means I want him to be happy. I'd rather it be with me. And I think it should be me. But he's happy and that's what matters." Which is really mature for an 8-year-old. Really mature. And I think that was great characterization. Because ultimately, even if Sonic chose somebody else, we're not going to talk about during the Modern era when they did her dirty. Uh, Amy just wants Sonic to be happy. She'd prefer if he was happy with her. Ultimately, she just wants to be happy, and she would learn to accept it if he was with somebody else. But she just wants him to be happy. What else can I ramble on about? Uh, I liked the post reboot stuff in Archie. I actually thought the story was really good and wanted to know where it was going. It had a pretty it was an open ending, but it had an end. Wish we could again. Wish I could have seen more of it, but I just realized that I just enjoy when Ian Flynn is the director of like the writing stories. Does he do them justice all the time? No, but I'm going for good enough and makes me smile. And occasionally angst. Melvirus arc in IDW was amazing for that. I mean, it happened over the course of like a week, and Sonic was exhausted by the end of it. Eggman was the most terrifying he had ever been, and the original villain, Starline, Surge and Kit, are really well written. Now, Starling can go eat dirt, and he has, and been exploded, and I love that for him. But I want the mean green lesbian and the wet baby back. And I was introduced to Surge before I was in the Sonic tag and I was like, I want Surge to be written similar to how Amy in her more like quote unquote stalker era was. And I'm like, who's Surge? So I click the Surge Amy tag and I'm just like, that's a mean looking lesbian. And that was my introduction to Surge. I'm like, that's a really cool design. So I find Surge hilarious. And it was like, yes, you took all the worst parts of Sonic and Shadow and mashed them together. I want to check something. There goes Hawaii, there goes Hawaii. Goes Hawaii, the island is gone. Goes Hawaii, the island is gone. There goes Hawaii. Oh, you can't see? Hawaii, the island is gone. I was gonna see how many people were watching. Not that it mattered. I was gonna see how many people were watching. Not that it mattered. I was gonna see how many people were watching. Not that it mattered. I was gonna see how many people were watching. Not that I was just, oh dear, I've fucked everything. I was just, oh dear, I've fucked everything. Oh no, everything's fucked. I've fucked everything. Oh god. Oh no, everything's. What's that one VTuber say? Oh god. Monarch, right? Embrace the sky. One VTuber say. Embrace it. Right. Embrace the sky. One VTuber say. Embrace it. Right. Embracing. One VTuber say. Embrace it. Right. Embracing. Cool. 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 Cool. Now where do you go? Now where do you go? Now where do you go? I thought I was gonna have her and Sonia singing background vocals on the mic. I thought I was gonna have her and Sonia singing is just so much more character. I thought I was gonna have her and Sonia singing is just so endless Hess night. I thought I was gonna have her and Sonia singing is just so endless. It goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on. And that's how high I can comfortably go. I could go higher, but I don't want to break your. And that's how high I can comfortably go. I could go higher, but I don't want to break your. And that's how high I can comfortably go. I could go higher, but I don't want to break your. And that's how high I can comfortably go. I could go higher, but I don't want to. Who should we draw next? Should we do Manic, Sonia, or Sonic? I'm gonna do Tails after I start doing the background. Because I want him to be off stage while the band's performing. He's gonna be off stage doing all the technical stuff. Because he's a little technical. He's gonna be off stage doing all the technical stuff. Because he's a little technical. He's gonna be off. What do you think, Ninjedi, who currently is the only person talking to me? What do you think, Ninjedi, who currently is the only person talking to me? And the pup, he's not puppy no more. Maybe came and started to and came from his. I don't know why he was in his kennel, but since right before I started stream, he decided to go lay in his kennel, which is big enough for like a great day. Go lay in his kennel, and filled the brim with blankets. Because Tom is a Boston Terrier pug. Because Tom is a Boston Terrier pug. What a precious baby. Tom is a Boston Terrier pug. What a precious baby. Or, since I finished this drawing, I can do little like sketch and quick art requests. I can do little like sketch and quick art requests. Now, for anybody watching who's not Ninja Jedi, now, for anybody watching who's not, I would accept like Ninjedi's characters just because I've drawn them so often for commissions. That I kind of like know the basics of what they look like for commissions. But I kind of like know the basics. For anybody else listening, that was not like in open like draw my OC because I would need some sort of reference for that. That was not like, and we don't want to end up with endless Hess night again. Need some sort of reference for that. That was not like, and we don't want to end up with endless Hess night again. Label this with what color should I use? And we don't want to end up. Let's go green. Green. With what color should I use? Midori. Verde. Green. Green. With what color should I use? Midori. Verde. Oh, this has no sensitivity. Midori. Verde. Not in the sensitive correction. No sensitivity. I heavily stabilize correction. All of I heavily stabilize correction. All of my brushes to get smooth lines, because otherwise I am very like, let's turn all stabilization off. Lines, because otherwise I am very. You can see I have like very shaky hands. Otherwise, so I turn stabilization all the way up. Shaky hands. It also with like these rainbow, which is how I like to sketch, is using these rainbows. It also with like these rainbow, which is how I like to sketch, is using these rainbows. It also when finally, because I had an old one that I used to use for this, they got rid of. And finally, or like I had an old one, the way the program they got rid of worked or like changed the way the program they got worked to where it no longer worked like this. But a few weeks ago, I found this pen, which basically it was like in a series of pens and brushes like this. I'm able to sketch how I used to. So if people on Tumblr want sketch requests, it's back to being colorful. It's back to being colorful. Which does nothing but make it nice when I draw. Which does nothing but make it nice when I draw. Which does nothing but make it nice when I draw. It's already loose. It's already loose. Oh, damn. We probably will stop the stream if we probably will at the latest the stream will go till 2 because I've got something I gotta do this afternoon. The stream will go till 2 because I've got something I gotta do this afternoon. The stream will go till 2 because I've got we will probably go for at least another 30 minutes for a 2-hour stream. We might go further than that, but we might go. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this consistently for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this consistently for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this consistently for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this over here for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this over here for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this over here for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this over here for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this over here for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired because I've never talked this over here for this long. It all depends on when I start getting tired. News. I'm going to add some shading onto this. I was debating doing it. I'm going to add some shading onto this. I was debating doing it. So we're just gonna do it. So I was debating doing it. So we're just gonna that way, like, if people have sketch requests, they can think about them and send them in. So we're just gonna that way, not it gives me time to decide on which character I'm gonna draw next, or if we're gonna like maybe switch to a game for 30 minutes. I don't know which character I'm gonna draw next, or if we're gonna like maybe switch to a game for 30 minutes. I don't know which character I'm gonna draw next, or if we're gonna like maybe switch to a game for 30 minutes. I don't know which character I'm gonna draw next, or if we're gonna like maybe switch to a game for 30 minutes. This is also how I do shade. I grab pale yellow and I grab this like dark bluish mix purple mixture and I start going over places that need it. I basically pre-shaded the when I start going over places that need it. I basically Sakai Doodle. When I start going over places that need it. Alright, let me just finish Sakai Doodle shading these. Alright, let me just finish this head here and we will do a quick Sakai. Alright, let me just finish this head here and we will do a quick Sakai. Alright, let me just finish this head here and we will do a quick Sakai. And they'll be like, they're not gonna be like sketches, they're gonna legit be like cheapified doodles. They're not gonna be like I usually they're gonna legit be like cheapy reddish pink for Sky. I could probably use my custom Amy color. Reddish pink for Sky. I could probably use my custom Amy color. Reddish pink for Sky. I could probably use my custom Amy color. So when it comes to doodles, I put very little. So when it comes to doodles, I put very little. They don't get. They barely get cleaned up. When it comes to doodles, I put very little. They don't get. They barely get cleaned up. When it comes to doodles, I put very little. They're very quick. It'll be fun. They barely get cleaned up. It'll be whenever I hear that, especially when I say it, all I think of is like. It'll be whenever I hear that, especially when I say it, all I think of is like. Is it help wanted? Is the from all I think of is like. Is it help wanted? Is the from all I think of is like. Is it help wanted? Is the from all I think of is like. Is it help? It doesn't have like nearly as sharp eyes as I always think when I'm drawing. I'm doing this without a reference, just from memory. As I always think when I'm drawing. I'm doing this without a reference, just from memory. Because I'm too lazy to find a reference. I'm doing this without a reference, even though it would take a quick search. I'm too lazy to find a reference. I'm doing this without a reference, even though it would take a quick search. Ninjeta's getting a real look into what it actually looks like when I'm doing the sketch layer for their getting a real look into what it actually looks like when I'm doing the sketch layer for their getting a real look into what it actually looks like when I'm doing the sketch layer for their getting a real look into what it actually looks like when I'm doing the sketch layer for their getting a real look into what it
I
actually
don't
looks like when
like
I'm
how this map is
doing the sketch
going.
memory doodle. Yeah.
I don't
Will this
like how
actually
this
look
map is
like the
going.
memory doodle? Yeah. Like the little shit?
I don't
Will this
like how
actually
this
look
map
like
is
the
going.
memory
Remember,
doodle?
his hair
Yeah.
goes
With the little
like.
shit?
I don't
Will this
like
actually
how
look
this
like
going.
memory
Remember,
doodle?
his hair
Yeah.
goes
With
like.
leave it curves
I don't
inward.
like
Oh no. Oh crap out of me. He's making the pen lag. There we go. Crisis averted. Stop with bastard energy. You're getting drawn whether you want it to or not. Oh yeah, you have another eye I have to draw. I'm just gonna do like the point of the collar. Oh yeah, you have a nose. Nose. And meant for cutesy characters, but all the bastard characters in Danganronpa get these little shiny, these little cute plushies. Meow. And I do make those sounds when I do commissions. You just don't normally hear them. And usually I like sketch on multiple layers. Okay, what's the point of being a bastard if you aren't cute? Fair. Valid. Motherfucking bastard. Tried to lag up my computer. And honestly, if the stream had crashed at this point, I would have been like, motherfucker. And Sky would have been banned from the stream. Not Ninjetta, just Sakai, because the bastard energy is the one that crashed the system. I should save that. Just in case the bastard crashes the program. There we go, just Sky Doodle. Well, street art would be for Nomi. Fair. Nomi is too good for this world, too pure. We're gonna do a little cheat that I wouldn't normally show. So what I do, how do I invert this? Invert selected area. And when I'm having issues with the layers not being exact is I take a backdrop layer, take the main character of the color of the character, do this number, and it's super sneaky because you won't notice I do it on. Because you obviously didn't notice all these like missing lines when it was being colored. So you won't notice that they're slightly different after I put this background on. Now, if this was being animated, yes, this would look a lot different and be colored differently. But it's a nice secret art technique. Yeah, when I don't want to use the flood brush, or because I've just had issues with it lately. Now all of a sudden, all them gaps are gone. And it shows off areas that need a bit more color. And actually, like, we'll do this on art for different reasons. But with A, it hides gaps in my coloring so that the shading looks fine. B, for gaps in my coloring where it's suddenly noticeable, I now know, oh, those need to 100% be covered. I'm all for cheating in art. It was my version of the sexy jutsu. Now, I actually shade my Danganronpa art differently to make it look more like the official art. But yeah, most of my Sonic art and personal art is shaded like this. You're like, hey Hess, how does this go from looking like it's just blue everywhere to, would you stop triggering when I'm just moving my hand? How does it go from this to looking like an actual finished piece? I'm glad you asked. Mm, again, if I'm trying to imitate a style like Danganronpa art I do for like if you've seen my Danganronpa class, I might take a break from this and actually start because I can't figure out how I want the others posed and stuff. Yeah, we'll save this. And then we'll continue this another time. And we're going to open up a new document. Fine, don't let me name it. That's cool. And we're going to go into pictures. DR. OCs. Data designs. And we're going to draw a few members for a class photo. Half these characters don't have names. So I want the Beta Chiaki, who I've named I, and Zombie Girl, who is it's whatever the Jane Doe version in Japan is. Let me Google it, because most of these characters do not have names. Yet. And it might, because I'll probably work on this class photo while in streams. I've got my phone up. What is the Japanese version of Jane Doe? So her name would be Yamada Hanako. Because she's a Jane Doe body zombie girl. So we're gonna open Jane Doe and I because they're named. No shade to the rest of my characters from the beta class. We're going to select color I think represents them. This is going to be flipped 90 degrees. And we're going to start by drawing that this needs to be a darker green to show up. What is the average woman height in Japan? Five feet 2 inches. Well, 5 feet 3 inches. Guess Hanako is 5 feet 3 inches. I wanted her to be tall. Man, if I canonicalize that one art I've done of these two, I is fucking short, because she's only like boob level on Hanako here. I gave her very, and these little art things you can at any time be like, hey, Hess, can I get a little like sketch request in, a little doodly doo? This is just to fill time between those. And I've been meaning to do it for a while. I wanted to give her very sad looking eyes because I didn't quite understand how to do that when I first drew her. So some of these character designs might change from how they look in my little art here, just because I'm trying to be true to the intent I had with them. Well, that I was trying to like copy the beta designs, but like they've taken on personalities of their own in my head. Mm. So I'll slightly alter them in this class art photo to What was I saying? Oh, yeah. To kind of, like, match who they've become rather than who they were? Man, I can't draw the second eye today. Well, time for an art sheet. Boop, boop, boop. Nobody saw that. I drew both eyes. Completely from scratch. Oh, wrong thing. And nobody's gonna say otherwise, right, chat? Don't say anything if you agree. Imagine if I were to ever do a fangin with the beta classes I've been calling them. Hanako's story would be trying to figure out who she was before she was. Definitely didn't see. Thank you, Ninjetta. I can always count on you. Hanako's story would be self-conscious about being not human. And she would her overarching arc would be trying to figure out, like, I don't know who the protagonist would be. I'm leaning towards the, like, Suichi beta. Also known as the twinkiest boy I've ever drawn. The overarching story with her would be figuring out who she was before she was brought back to life. Because as of right now, she's a Jane Doe. Or Hanako Yamada. She has no history, no family, nobody came to claim her. Um, in my art, it's implied she's stitched together from different bodies, but I'd probably change that to where she was just one body. Mhm. But she very much would have this sweet personality, kind of like Chiaki. Sweet, trying to bring everyone together. And very much I can imagine her or I being the helping character, a la the Chiaki, the Kyoko, the Maki Kai Tokukichi, depending on the chapter. We're just gonna call it the Maki, cause goddamn. How come your mom lets you have two helpers? And the world's worst Kameda. I don't know, I think Kokichi's, if we're talking rivals, then ultimately Kokichi was the best rival. If we're talking personalities, I would rather hang around Kokichi than Kameda. Because holy I would not be able to stand half the shit that happens around Kameda. Mostly because, like, his incredible luck, like, yeah, the bad stuff would suck, but, do you know how annoying it is to be around somebody who's, like, always luckier than you? It gets infuriating. So it definitely didn't. Her eyebrows are too. No, her eyebrows just go into her hair. Gonna get in cloud car instead of a hope boat. Yes! You saw how I wrote that clown car? At least there are airbags that might make a squeaky clown honk noise, but, I don't want to drown. I'm not a strong swimmer. You like boats? The question is, would I rather deal with Tomato's hope cycle or Gami's bullshit? I'm gonna go with the hope. I'd rather deal with drowning than hang around Tagami because I would multiple times like to punch him in the face. I mean, with Kokichi, I could get in on the joke. Holy shit, I love them. Why is it once every 30 minutes I have to permit your messages? Like I see them ahead of time, but it's funny that I have to do it. Yeah, so Hanako's story would be about finding out who she was. I'm not sure who would like live and die in this, so like even what if she were to die again, uh were to die, let's see if they stop me nope, they don't stop you from saying stupid. Just dummy. I think you said damn. Nope, that's it. I think dummy was only flagged because you said there so that they thought you were making fun of somebody. Like if you put like they're stupid, I'm pretty sure it would flag you for no apparent reason. Because I do have it like not to bully people in my chat. Let me rephrase that. Don't bully real people. We can bully fictional characters all we want as long as we're not character bashing them. Like, as much as I despise Tagami's face, he's a great character and well written one to hate. Why do I have a brain blocking how your torso? Oh, I can't look at a video. I'm streaming. Clicks video, anyways. One sec, my headphones are all the way over here.
Hello. Do you like boats? Kamukura-kun.
You can't just send me shit, Jedi. I'm stupid enough to like open
Holy
the-
shit, I love boats. I'm definitely a sailboat kind of guy. My favorite is probably the schooner. Ketches are great too. It's just not the same configuration appeal. Unless you're into racing them. This boat's okay, you know. It's not terrible, it's not great. It's just okay. In some ways, that's the worst kind of boat. It's boring. Someone help me. Here, let me show you some pics of my yacht. You haven't
Whatever,
seen a great
yacht.
yacht until you've seen my yacht. Where's my iPhone? Look at this pristine baby. I call her the SS Koizumi. And God, is she wonderful. Are you jealous? I think you're jealous. Don't you see? I love motherfucking boats. Boats, 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 boats. Help me, please.
Well, that's officially derailed the stream. Oh shit, fuck. Uh, uh, uh. We interrupt your stream for Ninjedi to share a meme with the class. Are you happy with yourself? You proud of yourself over there, Ninjedi? Completely derailed the stream. It's a great video. It is, I just watched it. Boats, 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 boats. Dude! They should convince Snapcube to do a Danganronpa dub of all of it and have Alfred be Izuru. Hey, because Alfred's the only person that can continue on a bit without laughing. Omega, count how many sands there are. And B, I'd love to see what that fucker does with the character. How do we convince them to do this? Like, do I start a petition? I can't talk ever. Which is going to be my one failing as a streamer. I've also run out of topics to talk about because I forgot what I was talking about before you sent me that video. Thanks for derailing my train of thought. So I guess at this point it's a boat of thought. We went against the current. Fucking legs. Fucking legs. Neither of these are good example of Danganronpa legs. Which honestly are way too thin. I'm not drawing the shoes. It's just going to be like a, knees and up. It's time for cheating on art with Alex. Or Hess, whatever you want to call me. Time for cheating on art with Hess. Do 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 do. In which Hess realizes all her fucking art is uneven. They're two well-drawn legs. I'm gonna have her holding her brain in one arm this time because I hate how it blocks most of. How big did I? Oh yeah, that's how I did it. Meow, 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 meow. Gonna stick with Hess because that's how I've always known you. Fair enough. Brains are bigger than I expect every time. Make her brain a little bit smaller. Practically, I don't know how she would carry this around during a killing game. Like, if I actually do like a Fangan comic with this fucker, I'm gonna need to figure out a better way for her to hold this brain. So I just put it on front of her and in her lap here because I didn't know. Also, the VoIP, so I didn't do a panty shot. That was also a choice. Doop boop 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 boop. Meow 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 meow. Feel bad for this poor zombie girl because she has to carry around this brain. Which A, I don't know how she's functioning. B, one of the jokes I'd want to do with her is her leaving her brain in stupid places. But it's so big and obvious, how would you just forget about it? Like, she is the living embodiment of, "I'd lose my head if it wasn't a carrying around the vein will make her stronger." It won't make her smarter, though. She's the type, legitimately, she would lose her head if it wasn't attached to her. She's gonna lose this thing when I eventually do something with these characters. She's gonna lose that thing all the time. Like, it will be a running joke that the protag McGee will have to constantly help her find it as well, like one of her like default free time events. Because you know how during free times it's just like you walked around the school with blah 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 doing XYZ. It's just like you helped Hanako find her brain again. I mean, if she doesn't die, re-die, I imagine they make some sort of like backpack for her to carry her brain around in. Because like it must be so inconvenient have to carry this around. No clue how it's connected to her like actual bodies to where she can function. Like I imagine like the little light things on here send signals to her body through like magnets or some shit. I'm sure that's not how that works, but for lack of a better explanation. Zombie, 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 eh. Imagine she's a very sweet character. She's like key though. Like I know one of them's a literal AI, but like the another character in this is a literal AI. She's like Kiba. She's doing her best to be as normal as possible. And like everything except for the fact she's a zombie is normal. She's like Makoto when we first met Makoto, the world's most average person. Except for the fact she's a fucking zombie. How heavy is the brain? Because yeah, I'm sure just carrying the brain around will make her stronger. Not that like her muscles are able to build because she's no longer a living thing. But like, how heavy is a brain? And why do they refuse to use this character again? I love her. She's great. It's such an interesting design. And there's so many wonderful jokes you could do with her. Did I make all her? No, her hands are all just one hand. As for I is very aware she is, because she's an android. She's more like a living doll than anything. Because I just thought it'd make for an interesting, like, character design. And I don't know why, but when I realized that the first and last character were both not human, it made me want to make them best friends. So I imagine these two are. You know how every Danganronpa has that romance in it? Like in the first game, you had Taka and Mondo. In the second, you had uh Hajime and Soda. That the bromance? I mean, sort of Nekomaru and Soda. And in like V3, you had Kaito and Suichi. No, in two of the games, how they had couple that was just like, bro is just another version of I love you because, dude, if this was any gayer, it would not get past any censors. They're like, they're like that pair. I've just decided. It's just they say sisters, but it's just a pair of lesbians. It was a one-sided bromance with Hajime and Soda. Was it one-sided for Hajime or one-sided for Soda? I mean, I'm betting Soda because everything for Soda was one-sided. Like, I think the joke would be like you're expecting two of the dudes to end up in a bromance, and I do like plan to have like, yeah, I gave her a very short round face. Fish. Fish. Mm, fish. Uh intend to have like a gay couple in the class. It's actually with the very buff Kuzryu beta and the Reaper beta. Like I want to make them legit boyfriends. These two are like the if we were any gayer, we wouldn't get past the censors. Couple. Do up, 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 do 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 up. I use this trick a lot more with mother of a goat. The Danganronpa characters because their eyes are usually just so fucking stupid to try to do twice. Eye starts out very robotic like I imagine. But slowly as she goes on and she learns she would learn how to be human through Hanako here. And that's what makes her fall like in love. It was the fact that like Hanako made her realize what it was to be human. which is like what she was built for. So honestly, I think the story might best be told from Ai's point of view. And make a lot of like the interface things make sense characterized, because it'd be like how she would catalog everything. And it could make sense of like combining gameplay with what's actually happening to the character, you know? So yeah, I think it'd be fun after I would have to either finish Ultra Despair Girls Aftermath or the Grand Killing Game AU before I'd want to work on this. Because like those projects, this would be a very big Danganronpa related undertaking. Imagine Ai's whole body is built like a doll, so like for like her like when I'm doing her like proportions and stuff, I'll show you how she's probably built. Imagine part of how she shows her affection towards Hanako would be gotta get background commissioners to get Ultra Scrolls Aftermath rolling again. Yeah, I also just gotta get Ultra Despair Girls it's Aftermath rolling again. But again, the main thing holding me back is my backgrounds aren't where I would like them to be skill wise. But again, that was before I was just like, you know what? The name of the game is not perfect, it's good enough. So I think I'm probably gonna have to do okay, I can live with how it is here. To get the comic pages. We both gotta start rolling again. The problem with you getting stuff rolling again is it gets me rolling again on both, because not only am I doing your commissions, I'm doing actual Ultra the Spirit Girls. But I do have like certain bands I listen to when I'm doing certain types of art, or like artists I'll listen to for stuff. So like when I did the first page of Ultra the Spare Girls Aftermath, I actually was listening to the Melina Martinez release, and when I was doing some of my latest like Sonic art, I was listening to Taylor Swift's Speak Now version album. So it's just funny where stuff comes from, and sometimes I'll be listening to like Weeby News and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna switch over to the doodles because I gotta draw something real quick for an exclamation. Uh, or not. Stream. Yeah. I'm gonna just do a quick doodle. It shouldn't take too long to do the thing I need to do real quick. But, that way if people come back, or like enter, They're not just like, why is nothing happening on this stream? I'm gonna go use the restroom real fast. I'll be right back.